One of the biggest questions entering this NFL season is Justin Fields, and whether he is capable of being a starting quarterback. Many believe he'll never become a good enough passer, while probably just as many say he already has or is on his way to becoming one. Ironically, both sides point to passing stats and mechanics, and yet come to different conclusions about the Chicago Bears QB. So who's right in this case? Funny enough, I think they're both wrong. Here's why. First, let's talk a little bit about Justin Fields. The QB is entering his third season and second playing for Matt Eberflus. More importantly, it's the second season in the Luke Getsy scheme, the offensive coordinator for the Bears. Even though the Bears' record didn't really reflect it, the Getsy scheme showed a lot of promise. And at the very least, it showed that it kind of understood what it had in Justin Fields, unlike the coaching staff that Justin Fields started his career with. His first coach, Matt Nagy, botched the situation so bad that the league had no idea that Fields had the sort of game-breaking running ability that reminds some of Michael Vick. So taking Matt Nagy's ineptitude and the Bears likely tanking last season, it's fair to give Fields a mulligan. This despite the fact that Fields hasn't exactly lit it up in many of the traditional categories that quarterbacks are expected to. Take, for example, something as archaic as passing yards. Fields, through his first two seasons, has averaged roughly about 150 yards a game. Now, someone like Aaron Rodgers, he averaged 217 last year in a down season. But again, there could be a good reason for that. Regardless of any excuses, this season really is a make or break season for him, because the circumstances finally look good. His team finally has a solid roster and definitely added pieces in the wide receiver room. It's gone from being the least deep receiver room probably of all time to being a really solid NFL one. Not to mention another quarterback who struggled in his first two seasons, Josh Allen, famously took a big leap in year 3, this after getting Stephon Diggs. It's easy to forget now how divided people were on Allen, and it's also easy to draw a parallel between him and Fields. So the question is, does Fields have what it takes to be the next Josh Allen? Can he get it done with an improved situation? To figure that out, let's take a look at what makes a QB good and what that means for Justin Fields. Essentially, the modern day QB is judged on a mix of stats. You've got your classic QB wins, passing yards, touchdowns, and your more nouveau stats like EPA, time to throw, DVOA, to just name a few. Truthfully, Fields is not that great in any of those stats. He's kind of okay in some, but in general, you could argue if you collected all the stats together that make for a good quarterback and put them into some unholy concoction, it would be fair to say that he's not a very good quarterback and possibly a hopeless one. Regardless, many have tried to make the argument using stats that he appears to be on his way to being a good quarterback. Same could be said about the film analysis community on YouTube. Funny enough, I think both sides really miss the point when it comes to Justin Fields. He's not the classic quarterback. All those numbers, they lie. Or at the very least, are just not applicable. One of the things about football I never quite understood was how denigrated the running quarterback is. Sure, there's an injury component to it, even though quarterbacks often get hurt standing in the pocket. But beyond that, there's also the belief that running the ball isn't as good as throwing it, which really doesn't make any sense, considering football's a game of trying to move a ball forward on a field. If you move the ball far enough to score a touchdown, it's really irrelevant whether or not it was passed or run. Really, you could argue that the QB position is all about advancing the ball, however that may be. Nevertheless, this idea persists that you can't win a Super Bowl with a running quarterback. In my heart, I believe that you can, but I can't necessarily tell you that conclusively. Why? The sample is too small. There just hasn't been enough running quarterbacks to really tell you that. But I feel like the more and more these quarterbacks become a mainstay in the NFL, we're going to see some great success with them. And it's not like there hasn't been any success from that position, or at least from that style. Take Cam Newton, who made a Super Bowl, or Lamar Jackson, who's won an MVP. Looking at what Justin Fields accomplished last season with his 1,100 yards plus of rushing, we know what he can do as a runner. And if he takes the anticipated steps with a better receiving core, it seems very feasible to me that he will be very effective at moving the ball for the Bears moving forward. So argue all you want about whether he has what it takes to be the traditional quarterback, but that's just not what Justin Fields is. And the Bears are going to be a lot better for it this year. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Oh, and sorry for the multi-month absence.